longtime Republican senator and former leader Mitch McConnell announcing he will retire. He's not going to go for another term. He's 83. Right. McConnell, the longest-serving Senate Majority Leader in history, if you go back and check. He was tactically skilled in the Senate, also proved to be a partisan brawler, who many people view as debasing an institution that used to have more cooperation and comity, even in hardball politics. He clashed with Obama, and sometimes he claimed to clash with Trump.
Our top political priority over the next 2 years should be to deny President Obama a second term.
My party does really good with white people, and I'm proud of that.
Our view is this: give the people a voice in filling this vacancy. There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. This will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate. I will depart with great hope for the endurance of the Senate as an institution.
Michael, you know this man. At one point, you worked alongside him. What is his legacy as he makes this announcement today?
It's in my view, it's mixed. On a good day, I remember his counsel when I ran for the U.S. Senate in 2006, as sitting lieutenant governor of Maryland, and his insights in political strategy and fundraising was invaluable, and clearly one of the architects of a lot of what the Senate did before and how the Senate functioned under the traditions of the order, if you will, but also an architect of what we have now in the Senate. When you stop and think about it, and history will not deny this fact, that man right there had the singular opportunity to end the political career of Donald Trump, and he chose not to. He chose not to convict on the evidence from January 6th, and left in place what we now face. So when he speaks about leaving the Senate, and he worries, as he mentions, about the endurance of that body, Senator, why? You laid the stones to the stepping stones to where we are, and that's going to be the mixed part of his legacy. Look, I tell Democrats all the time and talk about the fact that this man knew how to use the rules. Why haven't you learned how to use the rules? Right? Don't hate the player, baby. I mean, he's playing the game the way it's set up. And so when you have, even from a minority position, you think about what he was able to do as a minority leader.
We just saw, and to your point, in that montage, one of the clips we saw was him speaking about being in the opposition. And you're talking about the challenge to Democrats in the opposition right now.
Bank robber, how about, if you get the chance, fire the cops before you waltz into the lobby of the bank? And Elon Musk appears to have decided he will sideline the financial cops before he decides to launch his own personal platform. That is why Elon Musk should not be allowed anywhere near the CFPB. It is a clear conflict of interest.
Elizabeth Warren picking up the fight against Musk and speaking about the Consumer Watchdog Group, which her work, talk about expertise, as a lawyer, as a law professor, as an Obama advisor, and ultimately as a senator, her work helped create that group. Michael, you hear all this talk about what should the parties do with the anger out there. This is one of the few things in the government that protects the people against the bankers. Your view of this issue and what Warren's trying to do right now.
I think Senator Warren's absolutely correct. The fact that you've allowed Elon Musk to run amok over federal agencies and to control the impacting on contracting, the impact on having access to sensitive data, whether Treasury or any other federal agency, having his hand in the deconstruction of our Department of Defense or the deconstruction of our Department of Education, all of it. He should be nowhere near any of it because A, he's not qualified to assess those organizations and institutions. B, he is conflicted out of most of those engagements. And I think she's right in noting and calling this up and making it real for us to understand exactly what this impact is going to be. This is the guy who CPFB was designed to look at, his holdings and what he's doing, how he's running his businesses. Yeah. Now he's the one calling the shots. One other thing which I find ironic, the Trump folks are sending out these emails, right? And my friend of mine got one saying, no income tax. Trump wants to end the income tax. This might be President Trump's biggest knockout punch. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Do these idiots not understand what that means? So where do you get your revenue from? How do you raise the revenue? How much do states now have to raise their income tax to cover? And how do you fund the Department of Defense and whatever departments Elon Musk decides are left over to function? Where do they get their money from? I don't know. But, you know, this is the world we live in, Ari. But at the end of it,
it is the world. Yeah.
They wanted you to send in $25 or $50.
Of course.
So,
well, of course.
Maybe you can fund it that way. Get a little fundraising going on for the federal government.
I got to tell you, Michael, it's taxing my brain to make sense of why billionaires need so many subsidies. But again, we take it as it comes.